Welcome to the third episode of my podcast. The podcast remains unnamed, but I'm Gavin Fast, and I will be reviewing the best bets and the preview that I placed for the May 24th games from the NHL and the NBA. So we started with the NHL, where the Rangers tied the series 1-1. They did this with a 2-1 overtime win with goals from Trocheck and Gaudreau. Gaudreau is a fourth-line center, and he sniped Bobrovsky in the top left corner. The Rangers played a much more physical game than they did in Game 1, and they recorded 51 hits, which is a big improvement from Game 1. So the bets that I placed for this game earlier today that I went over in episode 2 of the podcast was Rangers money line. I had one unit on that at -110. That hit. We had the under 5.5. I had one unit on that at -125. That hit as well. I had two same game parlays. They were kind of long shots. Some random Panthers players to go under points. Those got screwed up by Sam Bennett and Carter Verhaeghe, I believe. So both of those lost. I only lost 0.75 on those same game parlays. 0.75 units. And then I had two first goals written down in my notes here. I did not say it I was rushing in episode 2 of the podcast, and I'm an amateur, and I did not say the first goals that I had, but I will show the notes. We have right here at the top, you can see Panarin first goal +900 and Trocheck first goal +1400. For whatever reason, I skimmed over that, but I'm counting it. Kind of unofficial, but I'm going to count it just because it was in the notes. So Panarin, I lost 0.25 units to, but Trocheck I hit +1400 first goal, 0.25 units, big hit. So in this game, I profited a total of 4.21 units. I feel like I had a pretty good read on it. And yeah. So let's go over to the NBA, where Minnesota blew an 18-point lead to the Dallas Mavericks. They were up by 18 a couple times in the second quarter. I think there are two different instances where they went up by 18. On ESPN, that had a 94.3% chance to win. That was the 18-point lead that they had later in the second quarter. I think there's like 3 minutes left in the second. But fast forward, you see Cat's having a really rough game. He only played 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. I thought that it was potentially due to injuries, but it looks like it was just coach's decision to put Naz Reid in over him, who was having a much better game. Rudy Gobert was having a solid game, so I guess it was just coach's decision not to play Cat for the majority of the fourth quarter. So with 1 minute left, Luka found Kyrie in the corner for 3 to cut the lead to only 2 points, and then the Mavericks on the other end played some good defense. I believe 2 possessions they play good defense to there's like 12 seconds to go or 15 seconds to go or something, and then Luka hits a somewhat deep 3 over Rudy Gobert to put the Mavericks up by 1 with only 3 seconds to go. And then the final play was kind of confusing, poorly drawn up if you ask me. They're only down by 1. Then you give it to Ant at the top of the key with only 3 seconds. So then he panics, gives it to Naz Reid, who shoots a deep 3. Not really. I guess it bounced in and out, but I wasn't too confident with that shot. So unfortunately, the Timberwolves fall down 2-0 to the Mavericks. Now they have to travel to Dallas, play games 3 and 4. Not looking good for the Timberwolves. History is not in their favor. In the fourth quarter, Cat had played 3 minutes. He had 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. That's when they decided to play Naz Reid. And then on the other hand, for the Mavericks, Kyrie kind of blew up in the fourth quarter. He was having kind of a mediocre game up to that point. And then he had, in 12 minutes, so he played almost the whole fourth quarter, he had 13 points, 3 assists, and no turnovers. So he was a big reason that the Mavericks ended up pulling out this game, as well as Luka. Luka had 32 points. He's my star for the Mavericks today. He had 32 points, 13 assists, 10 rebounds, and was 5 for 11 from 3. And then for the Wolves, Naz Reid was the player for them. He went 8 for 13 from the field, that's 62%. And then he went 7 from 9 from 3, that's 78%. He would have been 7 for 8 if he didn't have to take that last shot of the game, but it is what it is. And then he finished with 23 points, 2 steals, and 1 block. So some quick notes for this game. Once this game ended, the Mavericks went 6-2 on the road for playoffs, which is very impressive for the Mavericks. I know Luka really likes to perform at home, but now he's showing it on the road as well. And then Minnesota falls to 3-4 at home in the playoffs. So not too good for Minnesota, but they have proven that they can win on the road. They've won in Denver. They won in Phoenix. So potentially they could win Game 3 in Dallas. You never know. But I think that this says more something for Dallas, that they can clutch up on the road. So if they do end up facing Boston in the finals, which is what it ends up looking like, both teams are up 2-0. If Dallas faces Boston, I think that they could take a couple games in the Garden, which is Boston, or everybody says that Boston's going to be a great home team. But if Luka can end up taking a couple games in the Garden, like they do against the Clippers, like they have against the Thunder, like they have against the Timberwolves, then I think that they have a good shot to pull off the upset in the finals if we get to that point. So let's go over the bets that I placed for this game. I leaned the Mavericks +6, which would have cashed, but I didn't put any units on it. I had the over 207.5. I had a unit and a half on this. This is one of my more confident plays that cashed. I also mentioned in episode 2 of the podcast that I wanted to look into some alternate lines. I wish I would have done that because I think the score was 109 to 108. So the total was 217. So if I placed some alternates, those definitely would have hit. So for my player props, I had Kyrie over 26.5 points and assists. I got hooked on that. He finished with 26. And yeah, so I placed 1 unit on that. That lost, -120. The big loss was PJ Washington to make 1 3. He went 0 for 4. I put 5 units on this at -1,000. I was also very confident in this play, so pretty embarrassing there. -5 units for that. And then on the positive side, I placed 2 bets on Lively. I had him over 8.5 rebounds and assists at plus money, +105. I put a unit on that. He finished with 11. He finished with 9 rebounds and 2 assists. And then I also took a little alternate rebounds for him at 5+ for -575. That easily cashed. He had 9 rebounds, like I said. Put 3 units on that. And then my 2 player props for the Timberwolves did not go well. I had Ant to go over 26.5 points. He only had 21. Kind of a poor shooting game for Ant yet again. I don't know what it is, but he's just in a little bit of a slump here in the last few games, scoring-wise at least. And then I had Nickeil Alexander-Walker over 1.5 rebounds. That was +125. I thought I was getting good value. He finished with only 1 rebound. I only put half a unit on that. I only put 1 unit on the Ant play, so that's -1.5 units there. And then due to the PJ Washington flop that I had, I was -4.57 units from this game. So all time, which is only today from the 2 games, I'm -0.36 units, but not too disappointed. I kind of regret placing the PJ Washington bet, but it is what it is. And I will place previews for the games tomorrow. I'll place my best bets for the games tomorrow, and maybe I'll have a college football win total to go with it. And that's all. Thank you guys for checking out the podcast again, and see you next time.